So there's been a bit of a mini scandal that popped up because Ron DeSantis, apparently when he's on the campaign trail, and even going back to, when he was first running for governor, he says his name different ways. So he started out by saying, I'm Ron DeSantis. And there's many clips of him saying it that way. And then eventually, he rose to some degree of prominence, and he just sort of switched it and started saying Ron DeSantis. Now, why would he do that? I don't know, maybe because everybody else calls him a Ron DeSantis. So he feels like, it's easier to just agree with them and use that instead of making a big thing about, no, my name is DeSantis. And let's keep it real, DeSantis sounds way nerdier. But I mean, look, Sarah Palin, for example, when she first came onto the scene, I never heard anybody pronounce her name first, so I used to say Sarah Palin, because I thought that's how it was pronounced. But then she was like, no, it's Palin, and so everybody started saying Palin. He could have said, my name is DeSantis, and everybody would have been like, okay, fine, DeSantis. But he sort of went too far down the rabbit hole. It got a little too weird. And so he started out saying DeSantis, then he changed it to DeSantis, and now, I'm not kidding, on the campaign trail now, running for president, he keeps going back and forth. Sometimes he'll say DeSantis, sometimes he says DeSantis. So some people realized this and pointed it out and was sort of like, hey, that's weird. And of course, Donald Trump being Donald Trump, he picked up on this. And yummy in my tummy, he said, it's time to have a field day. Now look, ultimately, does it really matter, right? Like, it doesn't matter. This isn't a serious, important, substantive policy issue. But what Donald Trump is really good at doing is just making a mockery of all of his opponents. Is just making everybody feel like the position is that his opponents are losers and careerists, and like he's the alpha male, he's big daddy in the race, and he's really good at it. So Trump goes on Truth Social, hammers Ron DeSantis at the fact that, like, you're so slimy, you're so weaselly, you're so two-faced, we don't even know what your real name is. We don't even know how to pronounce your name. Are you kidding me? What a ridiculous scenario this is. Now, any other politician would have just let that slide and not thought anything of it. But Trump, he takes advantage of every single opportunity. And so now he hammered away on this issue enough to the point where it became a real issue. It's a real issue now. And so the media is even getting involved. And they're like, hey, how do you pronounce your name? And Ron DeSantis, look, the thing about this clip that's so funny is that I have no doubt Ron DeSantis was sitting in a boardroom with 14 staffers, and they were like, how do we address this? What should we do, sir? And everybody throws ideas around, and they land on one. And this is the help you get. This is the kind of help you get when you're paying these goofball career political campaign staffers 6-figure salaries. This is the kind of advice they give you. Watch this.
I've got a long last name, European name, Steinhauser. There's been some confusion over your last name and the pronunciation, and I'm just wondering, to correct the record, what is it?
Oh, that's ridiculous, these stupid things. Listen, the way to pronounce my last name, Winner.
Come on, man. Come on, man. What are you doing? That was the cheesiest thing I've ever seen in my life. That was the corniest thing. That was, you just ramped the cringe meter up to 1,000. The way you pronounce my last name is Winner. Hey, dog, we still don't know how to pronounce your last name. You want to give an actual answer to the question? Are you going to go with DeSantis or DeSantis? And are you going to explain why you've been going back and forth? Now, look, normally Trump would take a moment like this and react to it, but I think even he realized, I don't have to say anything. I don't have to say a word. He said enough himself. And I have no doubt that DeSantis and his staffers were like, nailed it. Everybody's going to be like, did you see the lay epic burn that DeSantis put on Donald Trump when he said, my name is Winner. My name is Winner. Really? If you were Winner, maybe you wouldn't be down by 30 points. 30 points to a guy who just lost the last election he ran in 2020. The guy who lost to sleepy Joe Biden by 7 million votes, and he's pounding your ass into the ground. Winner. Come on. Jesus Christ. Look, the overarching point here is, if this is the best that DeSantis has moving forward, him leading for that brief period of time was a flash in the pan. It was nothing. It was a fluke. I mean, you got to keep it real. right? There was a time, and we talked about it, and I was giving you guys all the facts at the time, and I was giving you my opinion at the time, and it was very clear for a brief moment there in time, not only was he the favorite, I thought he was a pretty solid favorite. Every single Trump-endorsed candidate in the midterm elections got draxed. Every single candidate who went all in on Stop the Steal got draxed. All of the more moderate establishment-y Republicans did well. Election that was supposed to be a big red wave was a red ripple. And there were only 2 places in the country where Republicans really did as well as promised: New York and Florida. And so Ron DeSantis was able to say, hey, my last election, I barely eked it out. Now I won by 19 points, son. I'm the future. And you had magazine covers. What was it, like the New York Post or something? Put "the future" for their cover. And it was looking like, hey, this guy's he's actually going to be the favorite. He's going to be leading. He's going to be the front runner. And for a brief period in time there, he was. Trump's favorability rating dropped to 28%. And then now you're letting him run roughshod over you. And you're doing these self-inflicted wounds. Would it really have been that hard to not switch the pronunciation of your last name throughout the campaign? Would it really have been that difficult? God, man. Oh, the cuck energy emanating out of the screen here is just astonishing. It is overwhelming. Look, I'm not saying put a fork in him, he's done. But what I am saying is homeboy is on the ropes. Because any little opening you give Trump, he's going to take it. And this, I mean, you got to give it to Trump for being able to make a mountain out of a molehill and make it land. Because that's exactly what happened here. And I know that they thought they freaked it with this answer, but I'd be curious if they realize now after the fact, man, we are some losers. That did not go over as we thought. You can't go into a campaign trying to create like lay epic moments and scripting it like this. No, they either happen or they don't. It's organic, right? And they're trying to force it. They're trying to force it on us. Ooh, okay. All right. I should probably take a shower before we do our next segment, but I'm going to have to continue. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.